Welcome. I am Ernie Goss, research economist here with AIM, Applied Information Management of Iowa. And we're reporting, I'm from here in AIM of Des Moines, reporting on the economy. That would be the economy for Iowa for the month of September. And this, of course, is the second Tuesday of the month. We come forward each Tuesday, the second Tuesday of every month, to talk about our workforce index. That's AIM's workforce index, which the index, again, is the number of online job openings divided by the number of unemployed. So the higher that ratio, the higher that number is, the better it is. Now the index, that workforce index, ranges between 0 and 100. 50 is growth neutral. Anything above 50 is growth positive. Below 50, growth negative, not neutral. 50 is growth neutral. So anyway, what did we get for the month of September here for the state of Iowa? The number was strong, but it moved from 83.2, which is getting close to 100, of course. That's one of the stronger ones in the nation. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Moved from 83.2 in August to 87.7 in September. Iowa moved from a rank of 4th best in the country in August to the 5th best. Now that's moving, I won't say it's not as good of a ranking, but obviously you're still in the top 5. It's still very strong for the month of September. The job market is healthy and improving. That's what I'd say. Now you'd say, well, wait, the ranking moved down. Still, Iowa's in the top 5. Now, where are the largest number of online job openings, just in terms of raw job openings? Management, number 1. Number 2, sales. Number 3, customer service positions. That hasn't changed much over the last 3 or 4 months. Probably we'll see some changes, I think, going forward, but right now those are the areas. Now, in terms of the percent of job openings, online job openings, relative to the number of workers in that particular occupation or area, where's the number 1? Finance. And of course, finance is growing. We're seeing the financial sector adding jobs. We've had these very record low interest rates, and of course, we've had a lot of refinancing in the home area, home financing area. That's been part of the growth. A lot of folks in the baby boomer age bracket, and I'm one of those persons in that baby boomer age bracket. We're seeking financial advice, and that's where you're seeing some expansion. Number 2 area, engineering. That's a pretty good signal now my engineering friends will get a little miffed at me for saying that. This is the guts of the economy. Engineering, architecture, housing, road construction, all this is real positive. That's the second best area. And the third area, of course, is IT, information technology, information systems. That, of course, is very good as we're seeing the expansion of this area in the state of Iowa. A lot of job openings there for the month of September. And here you see this is a graph showing the past few months of Iowa's overall index, workforce index, and Iowa's ranking each month. And of course, Iowa's been among the top 5 every month, so that's good. Now, where does Iowa stand? Where are the top states? If Iowa's not the top state, what is? North Dakota. No surprise there. You don't have to be an economist to know that's where the growth has been. North Dakota didn't go into the recession. They've yet to be part of the recessionary economy, not since the 2001 recession. So that's their growth there, tied to energy, tied to oil production. We're seeing strong growth there. Number 2, Minnesota. A little surprising, but Minnesota's growing up there. A lot of online job openings relative to a low rate of number of unemployed. Nebraska, number 3. That's probably going to change with the ag economy not looking as strong as we'd like to see moving forward. Kansas strong. Number of online job openings, advertisements looking good relative to the unemployment, low rates of unemployment. And of course, as I said, Iowa, number 5. Not a bad place to be. The bottom states, not where you want to be, at least in terms of the index, where you may want a vacation, Maine, number 50. 49, California. a vacation area too. Everybody wants to, well, I shouldn't say everybody wants to move to California, but a lot of us do. Some of us do. Well, not me, but anyway, we'll go on. I love California. All those of you viewing this love California. Actually, I'm a research faculty member at one of those California institutions. Better not be too negative. 48, West Virginia. And of course, that's a lot to do with coal, where there's been the administration's taken a hard line toward coal in terms of electricity production. Number 47, Rhode Island. So Rhode Island is among the 5 lowest in the nation for the month of September. New York rounding out the bottom 5, and of course, not really any surprises there. I don't see any surprises. Now, going forward, what should you keep an eye on? What are the things that so you don't have to call an economist to say, well, what should I do now? What's going on? Case-Shiller Home Price Index, that comes out the last Tuesday of every month. Now in August, we're going to get the August reading. The last Tuesday, that's the last Tuesday of October, that number will be coming out. Keep an eye on that one. It's been trending downward. The housing market's weakened. We've got the jobs report for the month of October, which comes out November the 7th. Very important report. Look at the 2 things in there. The number of jobs created, above 200,000 bullish strong, below 100,000 bearish weak, between 100 and 200,000 Goldilocks. Well, I won't say Goldilocks. That's neutral. I'll call it neutral there. Look at the wage growth. Very important. That's probably one of the top things to keep an eye on, because the Fed's watching it, and the Fed watches that and determines what interest rate policies they're going to pursue. Very important. Now, what do you look for? Something above, I'd like to see 3%. Of course, a lot of people would like to see 3%. In my own paycheck, I'd like to see 10%, but hasn't been that way for a while. It hasn't been for you, I'm sure, as well. But growth has been coming in about 2% year over year. That's just not strong enough. That's about the rate of inflation, meaning you're not growing your overall standard of living, you're not growing your overall buying power, and that's a problem, of course. Keep an eye on the 10-year Treasury. I don't mean to hammer away at you on this, but I've emphasized the importance of that number. When it gets too low, that indicates global risk are growing. People are getting a concern. They stick their money almost in little in little jars, and one of those jars is the U.S. Treasury, buying those 10-year Treasuries, driving the yield down, down, down. So that's a measure of risk. Above 3% measure of inflation. Inflation's a concern. Well, it hasn't been above 3% for any length of time in a long time. But if that should be, and I don't expect it to be anytime soon above 3%. Watch the quarter 3 GDP number, which comes out on October the 30th. Keep an eye on that number. I expect it to come in at 2%. Now, folks, at 2%, we should be growing at 3 to 4 to 5 to 6% right now with this economy, with the untapped resources we have. That's the number of unemployed. That's those individuals on the sideline. We're growing at 2%. That's annualized, seasonally adjusted, and I expect it to come in at about 2%. The first half of 2014, we grew at less than 2%, about 1.5%. I think we're going to come in at about 2%. Now, if it's oddly something unexpected comes in at 3 to 4%, very bullish, and go buy yourself a drink or something. Buy an ice cream. How about that? Buy yourself a good snow cone or something. Now, the risk going forward. What are the risks? Housing market is weakening too much. Trade embargoes. Russia's a real concern. What goes on in terms of us embargoing their goods coming into the U.S., but also Russia embargoing our agriculture, for example. And that's a real risk for Iowa, that though the exports to Russia aren't that great, this tends to spill over and you have some collateral damage. And of course, agriculture is a weakening sector, important for the state of Iowa. Now going forward, farm income, keep an eye on that. The strong dollar, as the dollar strengthens, that weakens agricultural commodity prices, and it makes Iowa agricultural products and, of course, manufactured products less competitively priced abroad. So as you see the strengthening dollar, that's a negative for the state of Iowa. Keep an eye on farm, and this will play into farm income. Farm income is moving lower, folks. It's just we've seen 30% drop in grain prices over the last year. Livestock prices are held up pretty good, pretty well. But watch that going forward. Farm income, we've not seen the worst there. That's going to spill over in the industries that we survey in other surveys we conduct, that I conduct. Look at the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is going to probably continue to trim downward, not so much the Iowa number. I expect Iowa to probably trim or move upward, advance a bit. Participation rates moving even lower. That's obviously not a good signal. We could move back to something we saw in the administration of Gerald Ford or Nixon, and that's certainly not good. Now, the other thing to keep an eye on is the Fed. Even though I don't encourage it, everybody's locked in on the Fed. I think that's a mistake. The Fed has become somewhat irrelevant except for scaring the pants off everybody out there, and that's, in other words, their actions. We need to look at the real economy, not the interest rate, what the Fed does or doesn't do. But unfortunately, it's going to be something to keep an eye on. Well, that's it, folks, and that's our report. I'm Ernie Goss, research economist, here with AIM of Iowa, reporting on our workforce index for the month of September. Here we are on the second Tuesday of the month of October. Until we meet again in the second Tuesday of November, between now and then, may your economic cup runneth over, and thank you. We'll see you then.